Welcome to Rays Sunday Baseball, brought to you all season long by Hyundai. This afternoon, the Rays continue their homestand with the finale. Three-game series here between the Rays and the Houston Astros. The first two games have been divided right down the middle. In the American League East, the Rays continue to run second to Boston, 3.5 back. And in the wild card race, it remains Texas and the Rays, the top two teams in that hunt. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an afternoon of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. So good to have you with us. We'll be hearing from Todd Callis in just a moment. Well, the Rays have been on an 11-2 run. The pitching has been very good. The hitting, which we saw get off to a slow start this year, as we look back over the first half, BA, the hitting has carried this team now.
That's what's so surprising, because the first couple weeks of the season, it was not there. And then all of a sudden, mid-April hit, and this offense really took off. You see where they are in average. They're scoring tons of runs. Up clutch. 290 average with runners in scoring position. And the one thing that's been impressive is the amount of production throughout the lineup. You see that there with 12 players with at least 15 RBIs, but they also have 8 guys with at least 33 RBIs. So there are tons of guys chipping in, and they continue to be a formidable unit.
Now about the pitching. That has been the secret of this franchise success over the last 5 to 6 years. Didn't get off to such a good start, but boy, when it did get into the win column, it was the pitching staff that led that.
Yeah, uneven beginning of the season, uneven results, but they have clicked it into place. You look at the last 20 games, the starters have really started to round into shape. You know, starting obviously Matt Moore going to the All-Star game, the return of David Price, that's not going to hurt at all. Chris Archer throwing the ball well, Roberto Hernandez getting in the win column yesterday, a lot of guys chipping in there. But how about the bullpen? You see right there in the last 20 games, a 1.69 bullpen ERA. Fernando Rodney, 13 for his last 13 in saves, and really the bullpen resurgence started at the end of May. So right now, you've got all facets of the game for the Rays clicking.
And when the Rays had to dip into their farm system, they got not only young pitchers with great potential, they got pitchers that contributed. Chris Archer has been one of those. Today, he'll go for his 4th win, coming in 3-3. Todd Callis takes a closer look when we return.
The Rays' Chris Archer with an opportunity for a series victory and, more importantly, a homestand that has never happened before in Tropicana Field history. A win today would give Tampa Bay a 9-1 homestand. And for Chris Archer, it's been a nice run of success lately. His last 4 starts have been very good, 2-0 with an ERA below 2.5. His last start was the only time this year, minor league or major league, he had a start without a walk, and his first time ever as a big league pitcher. We asked him if there was some cause and effect with no walks in that last start after watching David Price.
Just watching Cy do his thing, taking just small things from him. Basically, get strike one, and then after you do that, don't try to overthrow. There's no reason to try to make your stuff any better than it already is. And once you see that work a few times, or you see it work with DP, and then I do it a few times, you start to believe in yourself or know in yourself even more than you did before.
Pretty amazing to watch his pitch efficiency lately.
Yeah, he doesn't try to do too much. He stays within himself. He mixes pitches, works in and out. I mean, he does exactly what you're supposed to do as a pitcher.
And Archer continues to learn by observing as we have less than 3 minutes to go until the first pitch tonight. Chris Archer on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays. Eric Bedard will get the last free start before the All-Star break for the Houston Astros. Game time next.
Last 13 games, showing all facets of their game. Power, depth, defense, the bullpen, and scintillating starting pitching. Today, Joe Madden and Luke Scott take dead aim at making it an even dozen into the break. Can you catch that feeling? That's Rays baseball coming at you. Welcome inside Tropicana Field. The Rays and the Houston Astros will square off and wrap up the homestand. And the Rays send the young right-hander Chris Archer to the hill this afternoon.
And what a difference his last 4 starts compared to his first 4. You see the last, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, 2-0 record, 2.35 in the earned run average. The opponent's average very good, but more importantly than any of that is those 4 starts, the team record, 4-0.
The lineup brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarket. Houston again will have Carlos Pena in the leadoff spot, followed by Jose Altuve. The DH today is their all-star rep, their catcher Jason Castro, but the designated hitter in this game. J.D. Martinez, Brett Wallace, and Carlos Corporon down the middle. Justin Maxwell hit 7th in front of the center fielder Brandon Barnes, and Ronnie Cedeno is the shortstop batting 9th. Carlos Pena was in the leadoff spot yesterday for the first time this year in a Houston uniform, hitting leadoff. He batted leadoff 10 times last year while a member of the Rays. So Pena in here to start it with an average of .215. 8 home runs for the former Ray. Chris Archer set, and the first pitch of this game presented by Pinch-A-Penny, and that's a fastball in there for a strike. Pena singled yesterday to start the first, and that led to 3 runs for Houston. Turned out to be all of their runs for the day. 0-2 now. On the fastball, that one at 94. And with the count 0-2, a switcheroo with the shift. Escobar goes to the shortstop side, and Longoria to the first base side of second. Zobra's out there in short right field. Up and away.
I love that. I love how the Rays just put guys in motion, change up the defense. Are they going to blitz? Are they not? Never know. Never know. Different looks.
Popped up foul. Will carry out a play.
You can see Chris Archer, of course, he's got the big fastball, that one registering at 96 miles an hour, and trying to beat Carlos Pena up above the hands. Obviously, Carlos playing here, there's a lot of knowledge about his swing, the potential holes, where to exploit him. Archer trying to do it at the top of the zone.
And he got him looking. Well, he threw him 4 straight fastballs and then dropped that one in there on him at 86.
And that wasn't even his best slider. He's got a true put-away slider with a lot of depth, and this one just kind of stays up, almost a backup slider. But like you said, after 4 straight heaters in the mid-90s, you drop that, it locks him up, and it catches the zone.
A strikeout for Archer to start this game. It's Jose Altuve. And a ground ball knocked down by Zobrist, but he'll have no play. Zobrist to his right, and Altuve has a base hit.
Altuve understands Archer with a big fastball. He's going to attack early. This ball, I'll tell you what, if it stays in the glove, it's an easy play. By the time Zobrist gets to his feet, it was hit hard, and he would have had time to get up and get Altuve with ease. But it just squirts out too far away.
And here's Jason Castro. He had a first inning double and a run scored in the game last night. Takes a look at a fastball. That's a strike. Rays have gone 4-2 in the season series this year with Houston. Winning 3 out of 4 in Houston. And dividing the first 2 games here. A couple of one-run games so far in this series. Rays won game 2 4-3. Houston here on Friday night winning 2-1. So the Rays are 54-41 starting play in this game. Over to first and back in Altuve. He is a threat to run. 21 steals. That ties him for 4th in the American League.
Well, and you got to figure too that Bo Porter, this team wants to get something going. You got to try to manufacture some runs. You do have a base stealer out there. Why not?
The strike. Slider.
You look at Chris Archer, 8 starts this year, 7 for 7 in the running game. So they're not running wild on him, but they have been successful. Almost a stolen base per start. I don't think this is the kind of lineup you're just going to sit back and try to put together 3, 4, 5 hits in a row.
Ball the other way to Longoria, down to second one, over to first. That's in time. The Rays got the double play. 5-4-3 with Castro going down the line. The Rays turn 2 to end the top half of the first. Bottom half of the frame coming up. Rays coming in to hit. Tropicana Field as we move into the bottom of the first inning. I'll get here just in time to see this lineup brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarket. Desmond Jennings in the leadoff spot, and Ben Zobrist headed to the All-Star game. Then Will Myers hitting third again. Cleanup man is Evan Longoria. Luke Scott the DH. Then Sean Rodriguez, Kelly Johnson, Jose Lobaton, and Yunel Escobar completing Joe Madden's lineup.
Well, taking the mound this afternoon for the Houston Astros, left-hander Eric Bedard making his 17th start of the season. Those numbers brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
And Desmond Jennings takes the first pitch. It's a bit high. Desmond has settled right back into the leadoff spot. Pitch up again, and Bedard has heard about Desmond Jennings, apparently.
And why would that be, Dwayne? What was the tip-off? The fact that he started him off with 2 straight changeups?
That's right.
They understand that this guy will come out and hunt the heater early.
Just a little piece of this one. 2-1.
And we absolutely have seen that. Houston saw that in the series in Houston. Desmond Jennings being very aggressive on the first pitch.
Strike 2 squares the count.
Eric Bedard, he give you that little bit of deception with the little back turn towards home plate in his delivery. Try to hide that ball as long as he possibly can. I'll give you a good look. You see right there that twist.
A little roller at third base. That's going to be fair. Wallace with the pickup and a close play at first. Safe the call.
Well, when you knew it was going to be a close play because of the speed of Jennings, but Wallace, after fielding that, it did not show the sense of urgency that you need. You need to get this ball right here and be gone with it. You don't have time to pat the glove, crow hop, and throw. Got to realize who's running. See, that ball actually started foul, but right there, that extra little crow hop there by Wallace is what cost him.
So the Rays put the leadoff man on. Chad Fairchild on the call at first. And here's Ben Zobrist. Zobrist shoots it into center. Barnes going back. Not yet to the track on it. He makes the catch for the out. Barnes has turned out to be a very good center fielder. The rookie outfielder here for Houston.
Yeah, we've seen him make some nice plays. How about that play the other night?
When he was screened.
Yeah, with Cozart on the mound. Yeah, exactly. Boy, he had right fielder J.D. Martinez cutting in front of him on what really, if you're trying to completely deceive a guy and deke a guy out to get him to miss a ball, you do what J.D. Martinez did. And obviously, he wasn't doing that. He was going for the catch. But the fact that he kept his concentration, diving to his left to make that play, that was impressive.
Will Myers pitches a strike. Well, here's what you're talking about, BA, the other night.
Well, I'll tell you what. You see right there, and keeping the concentration during a no-hitter nonetheless. And originally when that happened, watching it live, I thought that J.D. Martinez had caught the ball. And all of a sudden you see Barnes laying there with it, and you're like, how in the world did you pull that off? You know, it's big-time concentration.
Myers fouls it back. Puts him down in the count, 0-2.
Well, and you got to be good too. You got to be able to cover some ground. You remember when we were in Houston, dead center field not only is 436 feet from home plate, but you got to navigate a hill and a flagpole. So good luck with that. You see the wood, the wood cutout of a cow like they used to have in the MTV Rock and Jock softball game.
There's ball one. 1-2 strike. Little obstacle course. Why not?
Listen, it worked. They got ratings.
Jennings over at first with one away. And Will is called out on strikes. 2 gone. Today's game available in Spanish via SAP, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Here's Evan Longoria. Evan hitting .277 for the year, .344 against left-handed pitching. Yards first pitch lifted down the right side, foul. It's out of play for a strike.
Well, and recently for Evan, it's been a little bit of a struggle at the plate. And we've seen some pitches that he's taken swings at that normally he's right on top of, that he hits very hard, just not quite getting there. We've seen some pitches that he usually swings at that he's been taking. Been a little bit of a struggle the last 10 days, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's almost as if he's not quite seeing the ball as well as he did. Boy, when he was hot, he saw the ball like nobody. Snap throw to first, and Jennings is back in. It was really fun to watch him and marvel at pitches he would look over.
Yeah, you're right, and that's the first thing that jumps out. You know, if I'm a pitcher looking at tape, that's what I'm saying. Now, is that the case? I don't know. Only Evan knows. I'm sure Derek Shelton, everything else, but it just appears to be that he's not quite picking it up, like you said, as crisply as he had earlier. And that's, you know what, that's what goes on during the course of the season. You don't stay locked in for 162 games. It's just not possible. So you're going to have these little ebbs and flows and these little downslides, but just as quickly as it starts to go down, you saw that with Luke Scott. How quickly has it come right back up? And now, how dangerous is he? It'll happen the same way with this guy. There's way too much talent there, too much work ethic.
Scott on deck right now, hitting behind Longoria in today's lineup. 2-1 to count to Evan. Bedard, 34 years old. The Rays have seen a lot of him. He is 11-6
Yeah, how about
in
that?
his career against the Rays. 23 starts. This is his 24th career start against him and 1 relief appearance.
Well, he's dropped his last 3 decisions against the Rays, and they got him over in Houston. That was a ball game that he walked 6.
Now it's 3-1 to Longoria.
He walked 6 in that ball game and 5 in the 3rd inning, so took the loss and then followed that up in his last start against Texas. He went 6 in the 3rd, but he walked 5 in that game. So a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone the last couple of times out. It's resulted in 2 losses.
The pitch swung on and driven into left center field. That ball's going to be in there. 1 hop into the wall. Jennings on his way to the plate. Longoria heads into second, and the Rays lead 1-0.
Oh, there you go. Maybe this is the beginning. Evan Longoria with a big home run the other night, and here with a big 2-out hit in the 1st inning. Mislocation on the heater. This ball does not get exactly where Bedard wants it. Well, I guess they do. Want it in the inner half, and that's a dangerous place to go. You had better get it on the inside corner. Longoria pulls those hands in quickly, gaps it. No doubt this guy's scoring.
And Jennings on base again against Bedard. That base hit for Desmond gives him 5 out of 8 with a home run against Bedard. So the 22nd double of the year for Longoria. And Luke Scott takes the first pitch for a strike. Luke hitting .274 for the year. And pushing .300 against lefties, .298 of left-handed pitching. One. Baltimore has a 4-0 lead in the top of the 2nd. Toronto hitting in Baltimore now with the Orioles up 4-0. Chris Davis now has 91 runs batted in. How about that?
Say that again.
A 2-run double for Chris Davis today gives him 91.
And 36 home runs.
Yeah.
That's a season.
It certainly is. I mean, think about that.
That's
for a while.
ridiculous. I mean, that's video game. Well, you know what? We had a front row seat for him getting off to that start.
We did indeed. Yes, we did.
Is this game still happening? Speaking of video games, someone hit the pause button.
Luke Scott bounces it foul. It's 1-2. Well, let's take a look at our Toyota trend. And the Rays have the best record versus left-handed starters in the major leagues this year, coming in at 18-10. The Rays overall hitting .286 against left-handed pitching.
And a lot of the left-handed hitters, a big reason why. You think what Luke Scott's done?
Hitting .298 against lefties.
Maloney.
Kelly Johnson in the lineup today's hitting .277 against left-handed pitching. 2-2 the count to Luke. And a full count now to Luke Scott. Scott stepping out, making Bedard wait a little while now. A little waiting game going on here by Bedard in the first inning.
Apparently spending the All-Star break here in Tampa.
3-2, here it is. Scott lifts it into center. Barnes is there to make the catch, and the Rays score one, lead one, and at the end of one, they lead 1-0. Houston 1-0. And we're pleased to welcome to our booth Andrew Friedman, the Executive Vice President of Baseball Operations. And Andrew, it's fun here, what's happened here in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
I would agree. Winning is a lot of fun. The birds chirp a little louder. The sun's a little brighter. It's been a strange first half in some respects, but we like where we are right now in the group that we have, and it's a really fun group and an interesting compilation of guys.
Well, let's talk about that strange beginning. The team gets off to a very slow start offensively when there was obviously expectations it was going to be improved, and then all of a sudden mid-April hits and they have taken off in a huge way. And it's not 2 or 3 guys carrying this team. There are 8 guys in this lineup with at least 33 RBIs. Talk a little bit about the offense.
Yeah, I tell you, the most impressive part about it is that they've kind of held the strength of our offenses of the past with being really good decision makers, looking over the ball well, and then they're accompanying that with higher contact rates. And so when you make more contact and you don't swing at balls, you put those 2 things together, more often than not, it leads to good things.
J.D. Martinez leading off here just a bit. Shortstop and just off the glove of Escobar, reaching to his right. Let's talk about Escobar for a moment. I mean, here's a guy who from day one in spring training, Joe Madden said he's an all-star shortstop. He could win a Gold Glove, and it's going to be a very big part of the success story of this club. And he said, Escobar says he's had more fun playing here than ever.
He's been great. I tell you, anyone and everyone you ask loves him. The energy he brings, the passion for the game. Even last year, when you look at it and on the surface, he had a down year. Last year wasn't nearly as good as we believed that he was as a player, but he was still good defensively. And he would have momentary lapses here and there, but overall the defensive game was very, very solid. We believe that there was more in there offensively, and just the total package, the player, the person, the teammate have all been off the charts. It's been a really good fit.
Yeah, apparently there's a momentary lapse there according to the score. That's his first error. He's been charged with an error here in 51 games. You couldn't ask for better play out of a shortstop with his range who handles the ball as often as he does.
That's exactly right. It's not just that he's not making errors. He's also making more plays than other shortstops. And so he's getting to more balls, and he's also finishing the play. And his ability to get to his arm from basically anywhere on the field has really stood out.
Brett Wallace, the hitter. Runner at first, and we'll take a look at some of the outstanding range he has shown.
And then I think he gets a three-pointer to finish that.
Right. Well, that's what has been impressive is the arm strength. I mean, falling away and getting that ball there on the fly. This is another huge play, turning that double play. But
that double play is the one that stood out for me.
Yeah, well, that was a rocket shot that he gets to, feeds Zobrist, who clears second base without getting clipped. That was a big-time play.
1-2, the count on Wallace.
Was there a point at all in the first half where the pitching a little bit uneven start to the season? Starters not quite there, not clicking. The bullpen was, up and down early on. Any point that you were a little bit concerned?
Yeah, I think anytime you're going through it, you're concerned, and I think it really turns everything that you think you know on its head. I thought the one thing that you could take to the bank was that we were going to be elite on the run prevention side. And we were optimistic offensively, and we thought, we put these pieces together, we're going to score more runs. But the one thing we thought we could take to the bank was the run prevention side. And so when we were scuffling there, we obviously spent a significant amount of time trying to troubleshoot, trying to figure out. And each guy is so different. And so getting into each guy and trying to figure out, some reason for it. But, life has returned to normal a little bit, and these guys are doing, more or less what they're capable of doing.
Let's speak to the phenomenon of players coming here. James Loney's a good example. Wallace out on strikes. Escobar's an example. Fernando Rodney last year. They come here off down years, maybe pivotal years in their careers, and excel. Explain that for us.
I mean, I think some of it is that, the narrative about players is so much about what they did most recently and not necessarily the body of work. And so, James Loney had a down year on the surface. There were some things underneath it that suggested he was better than he was last year. But then you take that and you couple it with the environment that Joe and our coaches create. Chris Westmoreland, our training staff, I mean, just up and down the organization, and just the total support group of the environment that is created. And I think it allows them that kind of freedom to go out and just play the game and only worry about what's going on between the lines, that I think allows these guys to kind of shine through.
Yeah, here's a guy, Kelly Johnson, who's come over here and contributed all over the place defensively, and another guy who has hit well against left-handed pitching. And look at that, Lobetone has just picked off J.D. Martinez.
Now, we've seen these Rays catchers very aggressive on that. You got the screen right here and a ball in the inner half, and how about that? He doesn't even look. That was the key.
No look.
Yeah, the no look, and he catches him napping. Boy, that was outstanding. And how about, you know what, talk a little bit about Lobetone and the growth of this guy, because, you see a guy improve throughout the year, maybe at the end of the year, wow, he's a better player than he was at the beginning of the year. But here in the first half, it seems as if his development has taken off by leaps and bounds, really, from, defensively and offensively.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. It's been great to watch, and it's one of those things that, we try as hard as we can to exercise as much patience as we can and really get into what guys are capable of. And what Lobo did in the minor leagues, you could take at various points in time, and he excelled in every single area that you want for a catcher. Now, it wasn't always all synced up, and it didn't always happen at the exact same time, but you knew he was capable of it. And so
Wolferone out short to first to end the top half of the second. Got time for the bottom of the second. Andrew Friedman back with us here through an inning and a half. The Rays are up 1-0. Second inning, let's take a look at the AT&T social media poll. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. Who would be the Rays MVP so far this year? TB1, Matt Moore. TB2, Evan Longoria. TB3, Joel Peralta. TB4, James Loney. TB5, Yudel Escobar. Or TB6, the Rays' depth. And Andrew Friedman with us. I don't know that we're going to put you on the spot to get your vote there. But, you know,
TB7, all the above.
Yeah, depth's a pretty good choice, I would think.
Well, what are you going to go with, D-Wayne?
Depth.
Oh, of course. I mean, the Rays management, what they're able to do in the offseason and all these moves. It's unbelievable.
Sean Rodriguez.
Just the attention to detail over and over.
Absolutely. A couple of things. We were talking about Lobaton before the break. I have to ask you about that because trading deadline, that comes up, but you always ask about, is there a big deal looming? And the Rays traditionally have been relatively quiet when it comes to that. But in my mind, Lobaton, 3 or 4 years ago, you got him at the end of July in a deal that no one paid a lot of attention to. And to me, it seems that those are the kind of deals that you look for to try to infuse more talent into the system and then develop them.
Yeah, I mean, on the surface, it's really, really difficult in July to have to go to market and acquire, significant pieces to your roster. The cost you have to pay is prohibitive. And so for us, it's about, trying to be as good as we can be in the current year while being able to sustain it in future years. And so we've tried really hard in the past to do things in July. And most of them, I'm glad, didn't happen. It's put us in a position where we've been able to sustain the success even more so. And so you get into July and we're all extremely competitive and you have the emotions going and, you want to, target a specific area or a specific player and you're trying all you can to get it. More often than not, when you remove the emotion from it, it would have been a bad idea. And so that's why we work as hard as we do in the offseason, as BA was just talking about, to add as much depth as we can, to have as much versatility, to have as many guys as we can to be able to get through a season in good order and know that injuries and different things will occur throughout the year. And it's imperative for us because for us to be able to sustain it, our good young players are critical to that.
Well, and that being said, as we come up on the trade deadline, how busy do you expect to be? Because I think, and Dwayne, I know we've talked about it, when you look at this ball club and you look at the bench, you look at the versatility, the different players, the bullpen, everything else, there's no holes. Nothing jumps out at you as a need.
Yeah, I think the good thing about this team and the thing I've probably most enjoyed is that we don't really have an area that, for lack of a better term, is a sinkhole. We don't have anywhere that's an obvious area that, we need to address. And so we've got 25 really interesting players that all fit extremely well together. And that puts you in good position because when injuries do happen, you take one of those guys who aren't playing regularly and you put them in there. And so, with Kelly Johnson and Joyce and all the different guys that we have that really complement one another. And then we have Ryan Roberts in AAA and other guys that are playing really well down there. And so, it puts us in a position where we don't have to do anything out of desperation. That being said, I think by nature, we're going to go through a lot of different things and explore a lot of different things. There's certain guys that, we really like and would like to target that we'll have conversations about. And whether in some respects it's getting ahead of the 2014 season, a guy who can kind of help us now and have a clearer role on the 2014 team, or someone who significantly upgrades us, we'll absolutely go through all those things. But it's a good position to be in where you don't absolutely have to do something.
Johnson lifts it into shallow left, and that's going to fall out of the reach of Cedeno in front of Martinez. So Kelly Johnson's aboard here with a base hit against the lefty Bedard. This organization has done something I think that most organizations want to do. Joe Madden said, when you had to go to AAA, the minor leagues, to fill a spot, you're not just filling a spot. You anticipate that those pitchers, players will contribute. They've done that.
Absolutely, and you look back over the past few years, and Jeremy Hellickson was one of those guys. Matt Moore was one of those guys. Alex Cobb was one of those guys. Chris Archer is in the midst of being one of those guys, and so it's extremely important for us as we're constructing our roster over the winter to not just have names that we can bring up here in the event of injury, is to have guys that can really impact our roster. And so it's one thing to say it, it's another, to do it and be extremely cognizant of it. And we appreciate that injuries happen and things will happen throughout the course of the year, and no one's going to feel sorry for you. And so for us, with Colomé and Archer and Odorizzi, we felt great about our depth and even kind of questioned whether it was too much. And then there you see it, you're 6 weeks into the season and you're relying on all of them in different ways.
Kelly Johnson obviously just getting that base hit. When you look at a guy like Kelly Johnson, he becomes available. And he's just an example because he's second baseman in Toronto. We're working with Yunel Escobar. Yet over here, I think that's his fourth, most starts, anywhere. Third base, left field, DH, and then second base comes into play. Is that something that you're thinking about right off the bat? I mean, are you projecting this guy like, look, we know he's done this in the past. He's a guy that can move around for us before he even gets here?
Well, it's funny. With Kelly, we actually had a lot of history because my first year as GM, I tried hard to acquire him a couple different times, and the next year, and so we knew what he did in the minor leagues at left field. We knew it well. That being said, he hadn't done it in a while, and so there is that leap of faith. There is that I think he can do it. I feel pretty good about it, and taking kind of calculated risks. And with Kelly, we took a calculated risk that he could play left, that he could play third, and I tell you what, he's played them both extremely well.
Johnson still at first after Lobatone's fly ball to right. Escobar in the batter's box, and the pitch is a ball. We got to ask you about Will Myers. I know there was a lot of talk about having him break camp with the club. He went to AAA, and the timing of his arrival, not something that you pushed, but here he is.
Yeah, it's. I think him going down to Durham was absolutely the best thing for him. I think he scuffled some early, and I think being able to go through that and experience it and make the necessary adjustments. The fact that we're competitive and we're trying to win a World Series, it's harder for us to allow our young players to do that at the major league level. And so as much as you can finish off their development in the minor leagues, get them up here and have as little of an adjustment period as you can, even though it's still pretty large, but to have it be as small as you possibly can, because we're inserting them in to help us win games. To fit right in and hitting the 6-hole and today the 3-hole and try to help us win games. And so he went through that and struggled for a little bit. I actually went and saw him for 4 games in May, and he was really scuffling at the time. He made the adjustments he needed to. He understood what he needed to work on. He got that in order and just took off. And so once we saw that, we felt like it was time to bring him up.
1-2 the count to Escobar.
Well, the thing that's impressed me the most about him, and you can see the raw ability, you can see the swing, how powerful those hands are and how quick they get through the zone, the athleticism and all that, but how about the way that he's handled, the hype. He comes over, much ballyhooed, a lot of scrutiny, a lot of eyeballs on him, and I thought that he has handled that just flawlessly.
Me too, and it's probably the thing I was most concerned about, and I was always trying to play it down and not let it be something bigger, and not let it... way to talk him into it.
Yeah, that's well. You got to have conviction, and boy, did he.
And not let it become something bigger than it is. And so I think he's handled that exceptionally well. And it's actually been a big part of us bringing him up and inserting him in the role. If he felt that pressure, if he was really wearing that pressure, I don't know that we would have done it right now, especially with where we were in the pennant race. But he's handled it extremely well, both on and off the field.
So the count is still 2-2 on Escobar. That ball did roll out of the mid of Corporon. So it's a 2-2 count with Johnson at first, 2 gone. And the count is full, 3-2. So having said all that, the Rays probably not going to make a big deal by the trading deadline. You're going to probably go out and make a big deal, aren't you?
Well, it's certainly not our nature to sit back and sit on our hands and just enjoy the roster that we have. We're incredibly competitive, and to the extent that we can figure out something and line something up that makes sense, we will absolutely do it. And so that being said, the one thing you're really sensitive to also is the chemistry, the dynamic that we have in place right now. We have 25 guys that genuinely love playing together, and it's one of those things that obviously you need to win games. That helps. If you have a bunch of guys who really enjoy each other and are having fun, and you're losing, you probably don't have the right group of 25 guys. Yep. But the fact is, we're playing well. Our roster complements each other really well. There's guys who aren't necessarily playing every day that feel like they should, but they've bought into the team approach and the concept of 25 guys playing together to reach our ultimate goal.
They always say that a leader on a team really needs to be an everyday player, but I think there's a situation on this club where the guy who pitches the 8th inning might be the leader. If you had to pick a guy in that clubhouse, I might pick Peralta.
Yeah, unfortunately, he might be listening, and so I don't want to say anything too positive. In fact, you guys were talking pretty positively about him last week, and I was standing next to him, asking how much he greased you guys. But, no, he's been tremendous. And, at times I actually worry about him in that his actual job between the lines is pretty tough, and how much he adds on top of that. I mean, he's calling some of our players in the minor leagues, checking in on them and how they're doing. It's not just the other 24 guys in this clubhouse. He's checking in on Eddie Romero in AA and Colomé in AAA, and his presence and influence on a lot of our guys is really tremendous and almost understated. As much as it's now getting talked about, I still think it's understated.
Not surprising. Not surprising that he would go outside of this roster even.
There aren't enough guys here. That's right. He needs a challenge.
Yeah, you have to expand the rosters before September.
Exactly.
1 strike to count to Desmond. The Rays have a couple men on base here with 2 outs. Down to third. Wallace will grab it and go to second to retire the side. Andrew Friedman with us. Andrew, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate the time you've spent with us here, buddy.
Absolutely. It was great.
We've gone through 2, and the Rays lead 1-0. Sports brought to you by Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. By Coventry Healthcare, coverage so you can keep living the life you want. Go live, we've got you covered. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Bluebell Ice Cream, celebrates National Ice Cream Month in July. Try our newest flavor, Rock Slide Brownie, and celebrate with us today.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something right now, D-Wayne. Bluebell ice cream.
It's the best.
And I'm not a big ice cream guy because it's, you know what I mean? You can't overindulge. But yeah. Bluebell ice cream is fantastic.
Brenham, Texas.
You know what? Well, this is funny. This is how it all ties in. When I was playing in the National League with the Diamondbacks, and we would go in to play the Astros.
Yeah.
They had it in the clubhouse. And I knew I would mark that on the calendar, and then I was ice cream free for a few weeks before I went to Houston because I knew every day, maybe twice in a day, I was going to crush me some Bluebell.
Yep. It's the best. Well, we're excited that they're right there in that billboard.
Yeah, no, that is exciting.
Yes.
And maybe we just keep pumping them, and we'll have some after the game.
Big truck drive-by.
They celebrate the All-Star break with Blue Belt.
2-1 the count here. Justin Maxwell leading off the third with Chris Archer on the hill. Rays got a run in the first. Archer with a couple strikeouts through the first 2 innings. And it's popped up right side. Sean Rodriguez near the stands has a play and makes the catch. As you can tell right there, no routine play.
No, that ball got on him quick, too. You know, you see Sean Rodriguez floating over there to make this play, and he's got to try to keep his eye on the ball. He's got a lot of things up there in his way. Right through it comes, untouched, and then get that glove up at the last second, make that play. Not easy at all.
Well, what great camera work, too. We're surrounded by unbelievable ability and talent here.
I mean, the compliments just flow so easily.
Good work inspires one. The strike slider. 0-1 the count to Brandon Barnes. Two. Chris Davis just hit another home run.
No, he did. That's not even true.
How about that? Swing and a miss. Barnes is out on strikes. Fastball at 96. Tuesday, Ben Zobrist, Matt Moore, and baseball stars gather in the Big Apple for the biggest event of the summer. It's the 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game live from New York with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. only on Fox. Tony Cedeno takes a fastball wide. It's number 37 for Chris Davis. 1-1. That ties him for the highest home run total in Major League history before the All-Star break. He's hit a 2-run home run.
So does that now make 93?
93
RBI?
runs batted in.
37 homers.
Yeah.
It's an even better year.
And he still thinks Roger Maris is the rightful owner of the single season home run mark, which has to endear him to many people. Fly ball lifted into right. Will Myers waiting for this one to come down. A 1-2-3 third. Rays lead 1-0.
Talking about that game between the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays, as Josh Johnson had given up 4 in the first and then gives up 2 more in the third. And there he is, the man, Chris Davis, 37 and 93, as you guys mentioned. 95 games into the season. Not bad numbers, guys. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Ben Zobrist leads it off here for the Rays in the home half of the third. Strike. The updated numbers for Chris Davis: .317 with 37 home runs and 93 runs batted in. So Cabrera has a sizable lead in the batting race, 367 going in. Davis leading in home runs, 37. Cabrera 30. Cabrera starts the day with 95 runs batted in. And Davis now has 93.
95 for Cabrera.
Yeah, how about that?
I need to get out of my shell, my cave I live in. Well, both of those guys. No. Listen, we talked about Cabrera. It looks like he's playing in slow motion.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is playing in slow motion. And he just, you watch the highlights and grab a cup of coffee before he swings the bat. Chris Davis, we saw that from opening day. I mean, he won 2 out of the 3 games for the Baltimore Orioles. Had, 3 home runs and 11 RBIs in that first series against the Rays, and he has not stopped. Just at a completely different level than everybody else in this game right now, which is hard to imagine.
Skipping to the backstop. Skate save there by Corporon on the pitch. 50 pitches by Bedard. And considerable time in between each and every one of them. He was 34 when the game started. He could be 35 or 36 by the time he's finished pitching today. Fly ball into right. Maxwell under it. That's the first out. And we'll get Will Myers up there. Reminder, kids, Evan Longoria would like you to visit your local library and pick up a Reading with the Rays game card. You can earn cool Rays prizes for reading around the bases this summer, including a ticket to a Rays home game. Reading with the Rays, supported by the Rays Baseball Foundation and the Tampa Bay Times newspaper. Breaking ball misses to Myers, 1-0. One. Bedard coming off a 5-4 loss his last time out on the current Houston road trip when they played the Texas Rangers in Arlington. Gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, and walked 5 in 6 1/3 and 4 strikeouts. He's ahead of Myers, 1-2. Rays got their run in the first.
And you can see Rays hitters now, because of Eric Bedard and what we've been talking about, how long he's taking in between pitches. They're starting to step out to make sure that they stay in their rhythm.
And a shot into straightaway center. Barnes on the run. It's going to be over his head. He'll play the carom off the wall. It's a stand-up double for Will Myers.
Now that goes a long way right there to show you the power that this kid has. His ball's down and away. 2-strike count. Look at him reaching for it down there. That ball, if it's up and away, that's one thing. But down and away to create that kind of backspin and carry, that was a rocket shot that gets over Barnes' head up against the wall in straightaway center field. And you can't teach that kind of power. Boy, that is tremendous.
To the Rays with an instant scoring opportunity. 4th double of the year for Myers. And Evan Longoria is up there. Evan takes the first pitch, a breaking ball. Too high. Longoria doubled in a run his first time. His 52nd run batted in of the year. Foul ball. 1-1. Myers at second base. Let's take a look at this and track the speed of the ball off the bat. 101.1.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. That was impressive because that ball is down and away, and he's reaching out there to put that into play at 101.1. Well, that's why you see it get over the head of Barnes. That's what we've been seeing big-time home runs leave the bat at.
Longoria tried to hold. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Yeah, the ball was hit pretty much directly over Barnes' head. Tough for a defender to react on something like that.
No, and you saw him go back hard for a couple of steps and then just concede. Knows that he's not going to get to it. It's just traveling too fast. Over 100 miles an hour.
That's fast.
At any level.
Now 1-2, the count to Evan. 2-2.
It's like me on my way home after a game. Fast. Kidding.
There's sometimes when I turn around and you're gone.
It's a blur.
As soon as the game's over. See. Little tapper. Third base side foul. That's why they use you as a pinch runner. And they did.
Yeah.
Too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the great things about playing in the National League. As a starting pitcher, you know, you're going to pitch Sunday and then you're not going to pitch again until Friday. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you may get a chance to get in there and run.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Have your running shoes on.
That every game. Little plastic turfs.
Sometimes after the game.
Oh, always after the game.
2-2 now. There's ball 3. Full count. Rays left a couple men on in the second. We'll see another 3-2 pitch from the veteran left-hander. Bedard spent a brief time in the bullpen for Houston. He began the season starting and then went to the bullpen for a couple of games. This is his 12th start back from the bullpen. His 17th start overall. Pitch wide. Tried the fastball and it just missed. 2 on with 1 out in the game today and all season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Conference on the hill. Luke Scott's going to be the Rays hitter. And Will Little, the young umpire, trots to the mound. Little, 29 years old, out of Tennessee.
'29.
He's 29.
Got to be the youngest.
I think this is only his 3rd time behind the plate in the major leagues.
How about that? An up-and-comer.
He started his pro career in 2007. So his ascendancy has been rapid.
Wait, he started that, yeah, 23 years old.
Scott takes the pitch inside. 1-0.
Impressive also because, you know, 6 years to get here. Not an easy group to break into.
That's true.
I mean, same crews every year, same guys every year. There's very little turnover.
Chop to the right side. Altuve. Cedeno out at second. It'll be first and third.
Yeah, and everything took a little bit too long on that play. Altuve getting rid of it to second. You just don't see the sense of urgency. They may not have been able to turn that ground ball double play anyway with the chopper off the bat, but just real deliberate here. Doesn't give Cedeno a chance at all.
Sean Rodriguez. Upstairs. Rodriguez caught looking his first time, one of 2 strikeouts for Bedard. Both have been called third strikes. One and one. Two and one. Tigers have a 3-0 lead at home against Texas. Detroit batting in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Justin Verlander has allowed no hits through 6 to Texas. And Texas has allowed no runs batted in to Miguel Cabrera through 5. That's a strike. 2-2.
Well-placed fastball there by Bedard. Try to come in and tuck it on that inner half against Rodriguez.
And a full count. Second full count of the inning. Bedard running a lot of deep counts. He had 2 full counts in the second, 2 here in the third, 1-3-2 and 1-3-1 count in the first. Now the 3-2 to Rodriguez. Big cut and a miss. He's out on strikes. That retires the side. Rays leave a couple. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay through 3.
Chris Archer's socks. He has the stripes going. And out there on Twitter, there's kind of an homage to his socks. Stripes for Archer is what it's called. The address @Archer22 Fan Club. It's the brainchild of our own Kelly Nash, who you see on the right side with her stripes on. They asked people to tweet in pictures of them in their stripes. They've gotten pictures from all over the country, and that one on the next to Kelly is from England. And David Price is getting in on this. He was rocking the shirt today, got stripes. He said, got mine. You got yours? Dwayne and VA, I'm sure with the way you guys love Twitter, you're all over this thing. @Archer22 Fan Club.
Hey, I just got word that they're also watching us in Athens, Greece today.
Come on.
So this Rays thing is catching on. Carlos Pena here in the 4th inning. Takes the pitch high. 1 ball, no strikes. Pena, Altuve, and then Castro.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have no time for Twitter. I think that's just a minefield for a guy like me. So forget that. But I will tell you this.
Our broadcast is enough.
Yeah, right? It gets a little dicey up here. Yeah, you give me some free time away from the field, and this is all bad.
Right. And with Eric Bedard pitching, giving us a lot of time, could be challenging.
Yeah.
And here's Pena. I mean, Pena takes as much time between pitches as Bedard.
I want to see that. I want to see Bedard v. Pena.
2-1. There's a complete slowdown. Time stands still with that matchup.
Well, I will say this again. Not a fan of Twitter, but I'll be honest with you. I'm a Chris Archer fan club. I love that look.
I know, me too.
The stirrups, the stripes. I'm a big fan of the way he's pitching today, too. I'll tell you what, filling up that strike zone right here, falling behind 3-1, but he's done a nice job of really going after this Astro lineup aggressively.
Well, you know, the last time out, he averaged 14 pitches an inning, and he's been under that through the first 3. And he comes back to go full here on Carlos Pena.
Well, you know, he talked about a little bit about what David Price has been able to do, the way that he's been filling up the strike zone, which has just been ridiculous his last couple of complete games, and even his first start out of this 7th inning. But he said, listen, you know, you watch him and you say, I don't have to try to do too much. I've got good stuff already, so let me attack in the zone, expand it later if I have to. But he has really pulled away from watching David. He's incorporated it into his game, and this is a guy where command has been an issue in the minor leagues coming up, and even command from time to time. You know, his first 4 starts, he had 18 strikeouts, 14 walks. He started to clean that up. Didn't walk anybody's last time out.
Starting his 2nd time through the Houston lineup here in the 4th inning. And Pena did go. He is out on strikes. Eric Cooper down at 3rd says he did not check on the off speed. 3-2, a change.
How about that? And then the guts to throw the 3-2 changeup. And this ball you see right there. Carlos Pena following it in a little bit too far.
So that's a strikeout per inning for Archer. Jose Altuve. This ball up. Ball, no strikes. It's 1-1. Chopped to short. Escobar takes care of that. 2 up and 2 down. You watch the Rays battle the White Sox wearing their 1974 original jerseys, and now you can own a piece of that game. Bid on MLB authenticated game-used jerseys, helmets, pants, and more. All proceeds benefit the Rays Baseball Foundation and Moffitt Cancer Center. Visit RaysBaseball.com/TBTC to place your bid. Two outs, bases empty for Jason Castro. On Hopper to second. Then Zobrist makes the throw to Rodriguez. 1, 2, 3. We head into the bottom of inning 4. It's 1-0 Rays.
Take his time on the mound. Fangraphs has a stat where they time out the inning and they average the time between pitches. Average is about 21 and a half. The top 3 slowest amongst pitchers who have 80 innings or more in the major leagues. Jeremy Hellickson is at 25.5. Then the former Ray Edwin Jackson is at 25.7. Eric Bedard, almost a full second slower than the second closest Edwin Jackson. He's at 26.6 seconds in between pitches. And as he deals with Kelly Johnson here, guys, in the 4th, you also mentioned the former Ray Carlos Pena as Johnson rips one foul. Pena is on an unbelievable streak here, guys. If you go back to 07, the first year that he was a Ray, he actually lost to Manny Ramirez in the time between pitches on average for the whole season by 0.2. Since then, he has dominated the major leagues. 08, 09, 2010, 11, 12. This would be his 6th consecutive year of leading the major leagues in pace in between pitches per at bat. And as you saw, there was Robinson Cano was within a second of him this year. That's the closest anybody's been in the last 5 years. Back to you.
That's a great opportunity to catch up on promos.
I'll tell you what, yeah, you can get 3 or 4 in that bat done.
Yeah.
Some of the longer ones, too.
2-1, just for fun, we should try to do billboards during his at-bat. We could do billboards.
He's going to come up again, D-Wayne, and that's going to be on you.
We're going to try it.
Yep.
See if we can cleanly fit it in. Yeah, in between pitches of Carlos's at-bat. How's that? Line shot just past Pena, and a base hit for Kelly Johnson. Kelly is 2 for 2. He went to left his first time and lined one to right here in the 4th.
Getting the 4th inning started off for the Rays. Line drive and game effort there by Carlos, but not able to come up with it.
I remember Lou Piniella used to say the idea is to get your defense off the field as quickly as possible. The Rays' time of possession, if you will, through the first 3 innings, 45 minutes. Houston 22. There's a bunt attempt. Bedard picks it up, and the throw gets by Altuve, who had a little trouble getting to the bag. They're going to wade Johnson all the way around. He's going to score, and the Rays pick up another run.
You know, you wonder if, well, obviously not the case, but Eric Bedard being so slow on the mound, that's the way that these Astros have been playing this entire game. You go back to ground ball that Wallace took too long on with Desmond Jennings, Altuve on the potential double play, and then how about this? Just a standard bunt play, and nobody's there. Altuve slow getting over. Just Excellent defense by the Astros. That's allows Kelly Johnson, to come all the way around and score. But how about that? And Eric Bedard is wondering, where is the defense? What are we doing out here?
So it's a bunt base hit for Lobaton, an error charge to Bedard.
And by the way, this isn't Sam Fold or Desmond Jennings laying one down to catch him by surprise. It's Lobaton bunting the guy over, laying one down, and nobody's there. Take that all day.
Tuve late getting over to cover the bag, and that goes as an error on Bedard, as it turns out. And here's Escobar. Inside 1-0. Escobar walked his first time. Each team charged with an error. The Rays have committed 37, and Escobar's streak of 51 consecutive games came to a stop. That error charged to Houston, assessed to the pitcher. One and two. With a run in the first. They put up another run in the fourth inning. Nobody out with Lobaton in scoring position at second base. It's 2-2. Wrapping up the homestand. They've gone 8-1, and they're on a run of 11-2 leading up to the break. Base hit struck into center field. Lobaton will be held at third. Sharply hit ball off the bat of Escobar, so it's first and third.
Well, the Rays really starting to apply the pressure here in the fourth, and Escobar goes down, gets his ball that's out over the plate, and just shoots it right into center field. Actually hit that ball so hard. You see Lobaton, a little bit of a pause there because of a line drive, but then again it was so quickly out to Barnes that he is not able to score.
Look at the top of the order. Desmond Jennings up there. Desmond 1 out of 2, and he has a history of success against Bedard. Pitch down and in, a curveball, ball one. Rays with 3 hits to open the inning. A run already across the plate, so the makings of a significant inning here for the Rays, now with the top of the order at the plate. Popped up. It's going to carry out of play, and the count is 1-1. Up in the bullpen for Houston. It's Paul Clemens. Ground ball, second base, Altuve. Cedeno 1, first base 2, and the run crosses the plate. Lobaton makes it a 3-0 game. The run scoring on the double play.
Well, Cedeno coming across second base almost came across too early on the flip here by Altuve. They have.
Well, they knew they were going to have to hurry to get Jennings, and hurry they did. So no run batted in as the run scores on a double play. And Ben Zobrist grounds it foul outside of third. This is the final day of the 10-day road trip for Houston. They lost 2 out of 3 in Arlington to the Rangers, dropped 2 to St. Louis. They've divided 2 here with the Rays. 1 to Ben. Foul ball straight back, out of play, and it's a 1-2 count. Twins have an 8-3 lead on the Yankees. That game's in the bottom of the 5th at Yankee Stadium. The Orioles lead the Blue Jays 6-2. It's in the bottom of the 5th inning in Baltimore. Now the count is full to Zobrist. Strikes. Curveball on 3-2. Rays pick up a couple. We go to the 5th. It's 3-0 Tampa Bay. Time for the Just for Men Auto Stop foolproof stat. Rays leading up to the All-Star break here, and out of the break, David Price will begin the series against the Blue Jays in Toronto, followed by Jeremy Hellickson, and then Chris Archer in the 3rd slot. On to Boston, it'll be Matt Moore and Roberto Hernandez to open that series against the Red Sox.
Now 10-game road trip. Each one of those those guys will get 2 starts, and then David Price more than likely opening up that first game here back at the Trop. First things first, you got to close out this ball game with a win before you get into the break.
J.D. Martinez, the left fielder today. Archer throws him a first pitch strike. A slider to start him. Well, Archer's given up a hit and another run reached on an error, but a double play and a pickoff at first base has kept Archer facing just the minimum number of hitters through 4. Slider and a little tap foul, 1 and 2. Three 7-1 for the Rays. 0-1-1 for Houston. A pop up on the right side. Ben Zobrist out there. That's the first out here in the 5th inning. Let's check in for an update from Todd Callis. Todd?
Yeah, Dwayne, we'll go back to last night first and then update you on a near no-hitter bid today. Tim Lincecum, watch Hunter Pence helping out his pitcher yesterday, diving full out there in the 8th inning. And that was the final out of the inning. Lincecum's had a difficult season, but last night returned to his old form. There you see Gregor Blanco making the catch in left field for the final out, and Buster Posey carrying his pitcher off the mound after Lincecum used 148 pitches in his no-hitter yesterday against the San Diego Padres. Today, Justin Verlander, who was named to the All-Star team but then had to be replaced because he was pitching today, pitching very well against the Texas Rangers, 7 outs away from a no-hitter until Mitch Moreland, with an 0-1 count, 2 outs in the 7th, would hit a ball deep to right center field that would one-hop the wall. So Verlander, who's got a high pitch count himself going today, over 100 pitches in the 7th inning, allows that one hit, and that was it. He got out of the inning with just the one hit allowed, guys.
Well, we're fully up to date. Now the pitch to Wallace is a ball and a strike. How about that? 148 pitches.
Yeah, how about that? That's yesteryear types of numbers.
Yeah, that never happens these days.
No, not even close.
This one's headed for the corner and right. Myers will make the pickup, and Wallace is in at second with a double. It's his 5th double. He's been swinging the bat well and has hurt the Rays with 3 home runs in the season series and now a double.
Chris Archer coming with this pitch meant to be away, and it's more middle of the plate down, and Wallace, stiff front leg, drops the head and shoots one down the corner, keeps it fair.
Edwin Jackson threw that no-hitter here against the Rays and made 149 pitches.
Yeah, how many walks did he have in that game?
Oh,
7.
I ran out of lead in my mechanical pencil.
It's a lot.
Yep. Operon 1-0. Nice pitch right there. Changeup had him reaching.
Yeah, that's the pitch that really gets Chris Archer the most excited, is the development of that changeup. We know he's got the big fastball, and he's always had a very good slider, but the changeup continues to come along, and that's going to be a huge weapon for him.
Well, that in conjunction with his other pitches is something to be excited about on a lot of fronts for Chris Archer. Truck just doing some checking on Edwin. He walked 8 in that no-hitter.
That's about it. Yep, that's right.
6 strikeouts, 8 walks, and 149 pitch no-hitter.
You know, those are the kind of no-hitters that, I don't know, they kind of leave a bad taste. Yeah, it's a no-hitter, there's no doubt. Didn't give up a hit. But when you walk 8 guys, you're in trouble the whole game. It counts, but it just, you like those clean no-hitters. You walk a couple of guys, that's fine. 8. I don't know. It's just a feel thing. It's just a feel thing. I think that's one of those no-hitters you walk away and you're glad. I threw a no-hitter, but I walked 8 guys. I got to clean that up. That's not going to work out next start.
The 1-2 to Corpora. Strike 3 call. Fastball at the knees. He's caught looking.
We talk about high quality. Chris Archer buries this fastball right at the bottom of the zone. That's a good pitch. Very good pitch.
So 2 outs with Wallace at second base. First time the Astros have had a man at second in this game. Missed with a slider. Maxwell takes it. 1-0. Cut and a miss. 1-1. Ground ball toward the middle, but Escobar gloves it. Throw to first in time. That retires Houston. No runs, a hit, and a man left. Bottom of the 5th coming up, 3-0 Rays. Houston, we go to the home half of the 5th. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one. We'll look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Enjoy responsibly.
Here's Will Myers taking a big cut and fouling it back. Strike 1. Passing through, you get a glimpse of that. What is going on?
Just a perfect setup.
Myers down on the count. 0-2. Had a 2-base hit in the 3rd. Rocketed off his bat at over 101 miles per hour. Going to get his back foot out of the way of that one. Curveball breaking down. Bedard behind Myers. He'll face Longoria next, and then Scott. Action, however, in the bullpen. Pitch in. 2-2. Bedard at 95 pitches. Clemens was up last inning. Ground ball headed to the shortstop, Cedeno. That's the first out in the fifth. It's going to get Evan Longoria up there. To Evan. Rays after their 55th win. Had a great run here right up to the All-Star break. And when you look at the games remaining after the All-Star game, every one of these games will be big games for the Rays. Every day a big game.
Listen, we spent a good part of our morning talking and looking over the Rays' second half schedule. The first thing that jumps out is the difficult stretch that they start out with. Obviously Toronto, Boston, New York.
Yep.
The 20 games at the end without a break, 20 straight in September to finish off the season, by the way, against some very good competition.
Yep.
And the fact that they play the fewest amount of home games in the second half of anybody.
By 10.
They're 28 home games in the second half of the season out of 66. That's it.
Yep.
So they're going to have to do it on the road.
28 games at home, 38 on the road against some tough teams. Where you factor in trying to win the division as well as trying to qualify for a wild card. 2 of those to shoot for. That's a strike to Luke Scott. So then you start to figure in, well, you look at the West, you look at Oakland, you look at Texas. How many times have they played the Astros? Because the Astros have obviously struggled in a rebuilding situation. Well, Oakland plays them 10 times. Texas will play them 10 times. That's why today's game, very important game for the Rays. Here we are in the middle of July. An important game nevertheless.
It's a very important game for you too, Dwayne.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got you.
Very important game. I believe.
Hey, there's an extra base hit for Luke Scott inside the line. He's going to chug his way into second ahead of the throw. A 2-base hit for Luke Scott. That's his 11th double.
Well, Wallace had completely abandoned third base as they play the little bit of a shift on Luke Scott. The entire third base line was wide open, and Luke takes full advantage. This ball up and away from him. Look at this. Just play a little bit of pepper with the left field line. Didn't do too much on the swing, and then hustling out of the box is what allowed him to get into second base ahead of the throw.
Not only a double, but it extends his hitting streak to 10.
There you go. Well, the entire homestand. He has been tremendous. But anyway, getting back to the win today, the Rays are able to hold on and pick up this win. I believe that will have accomplished, well, your thoughts in this stretch of going 12-2.
Well, let's see if they can do that. That would be fun.
That would be fun because you were very adamant about that. You weren't messing around. You didn't give the 10-4 garbage. You came right out of the gate and said, you know what? You look at the schedule. Let's be honest here. They can do 12-2. I believe they can do 12-2, and you're on the precipice of being able to high-five yourself.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a sight.
And you're lucky that they dropped that game the other night, because if they would have gone 13-1, I would have blown you up for being so negative and pessimistic.
Yeah, we did. That was right. That was before the Detroit series. We talked about how important that Detroit series was. That we could get beyond that.
Yeah. You said 2 out of 3 is going to be tough against Detroit.
Yep.
And then after that, 12-2.
Yep.
Look at you.
I got a chance to do that.
You've seen some baseball in your day, huh?
There is Sean Rodriguez with Scott in scoring position. The pitch is high, 1-0.
It's been impressive how they've gone about their business. They have not looked across the dugout to see who they're playing and who they're supposed to beat or the records or the standings. They've just gone out and taken care of business on their own. Each guy doing his job, playing well, all facets of the game. I love this stat. And this would not have happened earlier in the year, I don't believe. But you look at 7 of their last 8 games, the Rays have scored 4 runs or fewer.
Yes.
And they're 6-1 in those 7 games. Now, earlier in the year, that's a 2-5, 3-4 record.
That's right.
But they got it all working right now.
Now their pitching has come together. It's been consistent. It's been backed up by steady defense. And the offense has been spread out up and down through the lineup.
I was just astounded to see the stat. Number 1, you got 12 guys. That's almost everybody that's a position player. Has at least 15 runs batted in right now on this team. And you've got 8 guys, which is almost your entire lineup, that have a minimum of 33 runs batted in. Now, you talk about being thick up and down the lineup. Now, you don't have a Chris Davis that's 37 and 93, but you know what? You got a lot of 30s, 40s, a lot of different guys producing.
It goes back to what Andrew Friedman was talking with us about, trying to select players and to filter them in year after year.
Yep.
Kelly Johnson, someone that he had tried to acquire a few years before, had his eye on. Well, he's part of this mix. Veteran players, young players, waiting for Will Myers at the right time to get him up here.
And the contributions that they're getting from guys that they call up. You know, like you mentioned the pitching, about how these guys are meant to come up and impact the roster. You know, how about Ryan Roberts? Ryan Roberts is up here on the big league. You know, he's been a big leaguer. He's up here in the team. He gets sent down. He goes down to AAA, comes back up, throw him in the lineup that night. A couple of home runs, you know, has the game, basically wins the game for the Rays, and has to go down the next day.
Yep.
Those are the contributions that you're getting.
Sean Rodriguez out on strikes. The Rays leave Scott at second. We're through 5, and it's 3-0 Tampa Bay.
City at Citi Field for the All-Star game coming up on Tuesday. Home Run Derby will be tomorrow. You can check out all the action on Fox Guys, there's some people behind the scenes who are also heading to the All-Star game. Don't get as much recognition, but they should, including the head athletic trainer, Ron Porterfield, who discusses going to this year's All-Star game.
I'm really looking forward to it. You know, we might have to do some work or whatever, but I don't think it'll be too much. But the biggest thing is for my family, you know, because not only do I get to share it with them, they're going to have a great time, man. My son's going to have a blast being over there. So I'm just happy to represent all my colleagues, go over there, take care of their players. You know, it's an honor, man. I'm happy to do it.
One of the nicest, most genuine, and hardest working people you will meet in the game of baseball, Ron Porterfield. In addition, Kevin Barr, strength and conditioning coordinator for the Rays, is going to New York. Rays clubhouse staff, assistant clubhouse manager Jose Fernandez, and the visiting clubhouse manager Guy Gallagher, all going to be part of the All-Star festivities. K. Barr says he can't wait to see his 9-year-old son Chris get a chance to watch the All-Stars on the field during the Home Run Derby. Guys, all those people, we know how hard they work, but a lot of people don't recognize when they're not on the field, don't get to see much about these guys, but they do a great job. Back to you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It's great for them, great for their families, and all of their hard work pays off, not only for what they have done here, but what they did to prepare for getting here, spending time in the minor leagues. Ron Porterfield was in this Houston system as a trainer in the minor leagues, drove the bus as well as being the trainer. And he is as quality as you can find personally and professionally.
You know what? Everybody on that list, and you're absolutely right. I remember when coming down here to play again, and I was nothing. I was going to be added to the minor league contract in January, February, whenever it was that I ended up signing with the Rays. But I remember coming off the 2 Tommy Johns and Ron Porterfield calling me.
And Barnes lifting a fly ball to left, and Johnson handles that.
He ends up calling me at home to do a little bit of background on what I've been doing as far as the rehab of my elbow and what's been going on, where am I at my throwing program and everything else. And I'll bet you that we spent at least an hour on the phone. And I remember hanging up and I'm like, okay, that's the head athletic trainer of the Rays. I'm a guy that just signed a minor league contract coming off 2 Tommy John surgeries. It's early mid-January. If he's spending that kind of time and effort on the phone with me going into that kind of detail, boy, oh boy, this guy is as good as you're ever going to get in the game. Yep. I mean, just absolutely blew me away. And then obviously getting to watch him do his thing, and really everybody on the staff, it's came as advertised, I'll tell you that much.
So we're happy for all of them because they're all very deserving, and they'll have a great time up there, and so will their families. Way to go, guys. We congratulate you. 2 strikes to count to Ronnie Cedeno. This young man, Chris Archer, pitching well. He has not made more than 14 pitches in any one inning today. That's what he averaged his last time out, 6 innings against Minnesota. He airs that one out
just because hit the bull.
Here you go. That's a direct hit to the mic right behind the plate.
That's what 96 feels like. It sounds like.
And it comes right back with that slider and strikes out Cedeno.
Dwayne, we cannot talk about it enough. When you change a hitter's eye level, and when you fire one to the backstop on the fly, then you come back with that, what are you going to do?
It's part of the game plan. 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th. And Carlos Pena comes to the plate. Carlos 0 for 2. A couple of strikeouts so far in this game. He's in the leadoff spot for the 2nd straight day for Bo Porter's Houston Astros. Carlos settling in. Try to get a billboard in during this at bat. And the pitch, he skies it into deep right center field. It's going to be caught by Myers. And the best laid plans. 1, 2, 3. Go the Astros, and the Rays lead 3-0. on Sun Sports, brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. By Checkers, Feast On, and by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life. Back at Tropicana Field, 3-0. The Rays lead this game. Kelly Johnson's going to open the bottom of the 6th, and he'll be facing Paul Clemens, the right-hander, in relief of Eric Bedard, who departs after 109 pitches in 5 innings. And there's a base hit the other way for Kelly Johnson. Kelly is 3 for 3 on to lead off the 6th.
Well, how about this, D. Wayne? You know, after the game today, we're going to have Carly Rae Jepsen going to put on a concert. And here is the first pitch of the ball game. Saw her warming up, and I listen. This is all I'm going to tell you is you're going to have to go back. She gives it a great effort here, but you're going to have to go back to 2009. The belt holder for the worst ever first pitch of a ball game was Baba Booey for the New York Mets, throwing it out in the New York Mets game back in May of 2009. But that one right there is going to give it a run. I mean, he actually hit an umpire, I think.
Now, her concert's going to be much, much better.
Well, here's the thing. We saw her warming up.
Yeah.
And she was throwing strike after strike after strike. She just held on to it a little bit too long right there.
Maybe tried to throw a changeup.
Well, and maybe she went to the under the brim of her hat a little bit too much stickum.
Maybe. Ball falls foul. Careful.
Easy All-Star. Easy All-Star. Well, I will tell you this. I did rub it in Jackson's little nose this morning. I called home to talk to the kids.
Your son Jackson.
And extreme. My daughter Rylan too. Both very, very disappointed and very sad that they will not be down here to be able to sing along to Carly Rae songs. Very upset.
So what are you going to do?
What? Nothing. I mean, what can you do? Some other time, kiddos.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's what you do.
Yeah.
Some other time.
Said she's getting ready to throw out the first pitch, putting on the concert. They weren't doing very well.
A line drive caught by Altuve, and a look to first, but Kelly Johnson dives back in safely, and Lobaton is the first out.
Now able to take the sting out of that swing. That ball got in a little bit on Lobaton right off the label. Might have cracked that bat too. That ball just kind of floated out there for Altuve.
Yunel Escobar has walked and singled. Up here with Johnson at first and one away. The pitch fouled out of play. Bedard gave up 3 runs in the 5 innings he worked. He made 109 pitches. Rays got a run off him in the first 2 in the 4th inning. One of those was an unearned run. Escobar to right field. Maxwell just to the edge of the turf. 2 gone. You can get in on the action with exclusive on-field seating in the Papa John's bullpen box. Available dates are filling fast. Act now to make your group reservations. Right behind the Rays bullpen, call 855-GROUP-TB or go online at raysbaseball.com. It's Scott Kersey territory down there.
Enforcer.
We are. Just don't look him in the eye.
I mean, don't. And we mean it.
That's the proper pose. Eyes down when you approach him. Desmond Jennings, top of the order, facing Paul Clemens. Willie Johnson has stepped into the lineup and gone 3 for 3 today. Goes and stops. Snap throw to first. He's diving back in safely. It deep to center. Barnes back to the track. He leaps. That ball is gone. Home run to center. Jennings gives it a ride. A 2-run blast. It's 5-0 Tampa Bay. Home run number 11 for Desmond Jennings.
Now right down the middle, and Desmond gets the head out. Solid contact. And it was going to be close. Barnes is going to go back and try and make a play here. Not quite able.
Ben Zobrist fouls it. That's a strike. 38 runs batted in and 63 runs scored for Desmond Jennings. And when you look at the leaderboard, Desmond's with the big boys there in runs scored. Cabrera came into the day leading the league with 72. Davis was 68 to start the day. They've added to that. Mike Trout was 64. Adam Jones was 64. And 2 runs scored today for Desmond Jennings gives him 63.
You know, this coming from a guy who was moved down in the order because his on-base percentage was not where he or Joe Madden wanted it. Trying to get him going again. So, and by the way, when he did go down there, he really started to turn it around. Has kept it going and back up at the top of the order. And you just realize what he's capable of. He gets that on-base percentage number up where the Rays want it, and he could be scoring runs ad nauseum.
Silver strikes out. That retires the side, but the Rays add 2 here in the bottom of the 6th on a 2-run shot by Desmond Jennings. It's 5-0 Tampa Bay. is proud to partner with Stomp Out Bullying, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the U.S. Stomp Out Bullying focuses on preventing bullying and all forms of digital abuse. It educates against racism and hatred, deters violence in school and online, and helps at-risk students. To learn how you can help, please visit stompoutbullying.org. Seventh inning. Chris Archer back to the mound. Jose Altuve takes the first pitch, and that's a strike. 70 pitches for Archer through the first 6. Altuve 1 out of 2. 1 of 2 hits surrendered by Chris Archer. Fastball moves him back. It's 1-1. Right back to the hill, and Archer straight up for that one and flips it over to Rodriguez. One gone.
No shortage of energy from Chris Archer.
Just a nice little instant spring right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to flag down this chopper from Altuve, and then he's going to cut the distance on the throw.
He's fun to watch.
Oh, yes, he is. For a lot of different reasons.
Yep. Jason Castro takes the ball too low. Six strikeouts for Archer. A couple of hits, no runs. There's ball 2. Let's look at the run of pitch count. Nothing over 14 so far per inning. Up the middle, and a base hit past Archer and Escobar and through into center.
Castro just hit that ball too hard. Gets it right by Archer in a hurry. And then Escobar, who's going to try to make a play for him, not going to be able to get there in time because too well struck.
Check out Archer.
Again, fun to watch.
Martinez. Ground ball, Zobrist. Escobar won first base, not going to be in time. Great effort, though.
Fun to watch that, even though it wasn't turned. The ball wasn't hit hard enough, and Martinez is hustling up the line, but Escobar coming across second with an athletic move himself to get rid of this throw in the air.
So 2 outs with Martinez aboard at first. Brett Wallace about to step in. This has a double in this game. 1 out of 2. Two. 2 strikes. Archer to the plate. Makes the count to 2-2. Slider stayed a bit wide that time. Rays trying to complete this 3-game series with a series win. That would give the Rays 9-1 on this road trip. That would be the best homestand in club history. On 8-2. Back in 08. And 8-2 in 05. Lead 1 right now and holding a 5-0 lead in the 7th inning. And ball 3 is high. That runs the count full. Only the second 3-ball count Archer's had. He went 3-2 to Pena in the 4th inning and then threw him a changeup to strike him out. He's 3-2 with Wallace here in the 7th. And he strikes him out on a changeup. That takes care of Houston in the top of the 7th inning. Time for the 7th inning stretch presented by Hyundai. Hold a 5-0 lead as we move into the home half of the 7th inning here this afternoon. Rays trying to put the positive finishing touches on this homestand. We'll take a look at the AT&T social media poll. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. Who would be the Rays MVP so far this season? TB1, Matt Moore. TB2, Evan Longoria. TB3, Joel Peralta. TB4, perhaps James Loney. TB5, Yudel Escobar. TB6, the overall Rays depth.
I'll tell you what, Dwayne, now that now that Andrew Friedman is no longer in the booth,
yes,
I'm going to tell you what my answer is.
Peralta.
No, I'm still going to go with the depth.
Are you?
I'm going to go with the depth all the way through. We talk about the depth of the pitching staff, the starting rotation. Talk about the depth of that bullpen, especially now the way that Alex Torres is throwing the ball, giving Joe Madden another option. And then the depth of the Rays lineup. We talk about all those guys with all the RBIs, everybody chipping in. I'm going to stick with 6.
Here's Will Myers leading off, and he grounds a base hit on the first pitch into center field. Well, we just had a shot of Peralta. Among other things, he was signing autographs during the game.
Yeah, right.
So he's taking care of everybody in and out of the organization.
Selfless.
Yep, he's great.
And poking the bear.
Well, there's Evan Longoria. The breaking ball is in there for a strike. Myers back hit at first. Rays now have 11 hits. Curveball is in for a strike. 2. Evans tries the breaking ball again. This time it's low. There goes the runner. The pitch is high and the throw sails into center field. Myers has his 3rd steal, and Corcoran's throw not close.
Yeah, Corcoran had a nice pitch to handle too. A hard fastball up in the zone that gets him out of his crouch and ready to throw, and oops. Obviously did not have a very good grip on that baseball, and it just sailed.
So now Myers in scoring position here in the 7th. Rays got 3 runs, 2 earned off Bedard in the 5 innings he worked. Added 2 runs on a home run by Desmond Jennings in the 6th as he connected off Clemens. The 2-2 breaking ball misses. Full count. Swing and a miss. Longoria missed a fastball. That's the first out.
Yeah, that's one of those pitches that we were talking about earlier. A pitch that he usually will handle. That ball's got plenty of plate, and that's a ball that actually very similar to the location where he drove a ball to the left center field gap earlier in the ball game. This time just over the top of it.
It's Luke Scott. Pops it up. Altuve out there shallow right, backing up. Altuve had him positioned from his second base spot in shallow right field. So Luke is out number 2. John Rodriguez too, but James Loney will emerge from the Rays dugout to pinch hit against Clemens. Here's Loney. James at .316 with 43 runs batted in. We had a base hit, the run scored off Clemens in the series in Houston when he was used in relief following the left-hander Dallas Keuchel to the mound. Two change up. Twins batting in the 8th, leading the Yankees in New York 8-4. And the Orioles have a 7-3 lead with the Blue Jays batting in the top of the 9th in Baltimore. Two strikes the count to Loney. Low 1-2. The Blue Jays have scored a run in the 9th to make it interesting. Now 7-4. Nobody out. And the Blue Jays have put another man on, a runner at first base. Jim Johnson, the closer, enters that game. Only trying to pick up an additional run for the Rays here in the 7th inning in a pinch hit role. Batting for Sean Rodriguez. He fouls it back. Clemens taking a lot of time that time before making the 1-2 pitch, and Loney decided to stay right in there in the batter's box and wait him out that way. Low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Loney has now been in all 96 games for the Rays this year.
Oh yeah, even on those days that Joe Maddon's going to give him a day off late in the game, the Rays are anywhere close, he's going to go in for defense, pinch hit. So valuable in so many ways.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Fouls it away.
Yeah, how about this at bat here? I mean, James Loney falls behind right away and now has extended it out, fouled off a couple of tough pitches. That was a changeup running down and away, and just a little swing. It's close. I'll spoil it. Move on to the next one and hope that Clemens eventually leaves one out over. Survey the defense.
Ground ball right side into shallow right. Altuve with the toss to first. Pena back to the bag to take the throw. Rays get a hit, leave a man, and we go to the 8th. 5-0 Tampa Bay.
Archer is one guy who really is observant about everything around him, and he has paid attention recently to David Price and his extreme pitch efficiency.
Just watching Cy do his thing, taking just small things from him. Basically, get strike one, and then after you do that, don't try to overthrow. There's no reason to try to make your stuff any better than it already is. And once you see that work a few times, or you see it work with DP, and then I do it a few times, you start to believe in yourself or know in yourself even more than you did before.
Last start, guys, was his first Major League start without a walk. Today, he's got a chance for the deepest he's ever gone into a game, minor league or major league. His previous high was 7 innings, guys.
And he's made just 84 pitches in 7 innings in this game. Not more than 14 pitches in any one inning. First pitch to Carlos Corporan is down. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's one thing to say all those things. Yeah, you can say anything you want. But then to believe them and put them into practice, and that's what we're seeing. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a guy with plus stuff take that approach and fill up that zone, not with just strikes. You know, just throwing strikes isn't always good. They got to be quality strikes, and that's what we're watching.
A ball and a strike here now to Corporan, with Maxwell and Barnes due to follow. 1-2. The count. Upstairs, Archer through the front 7 innings has 7 strikeouts, 1 in each inning. It's fouled back. He's used that changeup twice when he's gone to 3-2. He went to 3-2 with Pena in the 4th. Struck him out on the changeup. He went 3-2 to Wallace in the 7th and struck him out on the changeup. 2 to the Houston catcher. A little popper, shallow left, coming in a hurry. Johnson there to make the catch. So Kelly Johnson takes care of that pop fly. First out of the 8th.
Well, how about this? Chris Archer, you know, looking after learning from one of the best that David Price has since coming off that injury to the triceps. How about those lines? No walks, 18 strikeouts. You see right there. I mean, how impressive is that? Not hurting himself with any extra base runners and doing it efficiently. I mean, both of those complete games. Well, I believe. Well, I know both of them were under 100 pitches. One was at 87. Was that the last one?
The last one, 87.
Yeah. Fewest pitches thrown in a complete game in Rays history.
Ground ball. Escobar's after this when he turns and fires to Loney in first. Maxwell out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th. And Archer just over 90 pitches. 2 outs into the 8th.
Yeah, amazing. He has been so very impressive his last 4 starts. Nice play there by Escobar, and then spot up.
So the bases are empty. 2 gone for Brandon Barnes. 92 pitches, 2 outs into the 8th.
I mean, that is a clean line right there. Just clean.
The first pitch strike, fastball. Remember when he pitched in Houston?
Yes.
And about the 3rd inning, Alan Ashby on their broadcast crew, the former catcher, stuck his head in our booth and he said, where did this guy's arm come from? Barnes out, pitcher first, and 10-pitch inning. Ball game heads into the bottom of the 8th. Archer has been in command. 5-0 Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Rays and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays. Kelly Johnson 3 for 3 this afternoon will lead off the bottom of the 8th with the Rays holding a 5-0 lead. Johnson after the first one and chops it foul. That's a strike. He has scored 2 of the 5 runs for the Rays in this game. Ground ball sharply hit, backhanded by Pena, who makes the play unassisted. 1 gone. Jose Lobaton got credit for a bunt single back in the 4th inning when the Rays scored a couple runs. He's hitting .272 for the year. This pitch pops it up. going to carry out a play. The bullpen all quiet at this point. Archer's given the Rays 8 scoreless innings with just 94 pitches. Strike. How about this on the homestand? The Rays staff strikeout to walk ratio coming into this game. 80 strikeouts and 10 walks in 9 games. An 8-to-1 ratio. And today it's 7 walks or 7 strikeouts, no walks for Archer.
Another case in point of this staff continuing to push each other. You know, no one wants to be the guy that stops the streak. So everybody out there pushing each and every start to outdo the guy before him.
On Hopper, Altuve managed to glove that one. Turned out to be a little more difficult than you anticipate.
Yeah, that was that ball wasn't hit all that hard by Lobaton. It's going to die before it gets to Altuve. He's going to block it, and then at the last second, he now.
Escobar. Escobar's been on twice with a walk and a single. Curveball too low. Change up. Clemens in his 3rd inning of relief. The Rays got to him for 2 in the 6th inning on a home run by Desmond Jennings. Giving up the 2 runs, 3 hits. And a backhand stop by Cedeno, but no chance to get Escobar. Hit number 4 given up by Clemens. The Rays have a dozen hits, and Escobar slowed up and favoring that right leg.
Now his hand went to the back of his leg as he's trying to beat this out. You'll see it right here, the right hand. Just for a second.
Paul Harker out there to attend to him, and Joe Madden comes out. Well, here's the thing with a hamstring situation, even if it's just a cramp at this point, there's no reason to do anything other than what they're doing now. Madden came out and says, come on, we're leaving.
Right. There was no discussion. You got the All-Star break coming up. You're in the bottom of the 8th inning. I mean, and he has been far too valuable to this team to risk anything. You get him right out of there, you get that looked at and taken care of. No question.
So Sam Foles going to come on to run for him, and Escobar said just a little problem, not that big.
Un poquito.
Yeah. So let's hope that's the correct diagnosis of that issue. So Fold is aboard. Pinch running. And Desmond Jennings in the batter's box. Slow curve for a strike. dozen Rays hit. They've out hit Houston 12-3, and they lead 5-0. One and one. Baltimore beat Toronto. That's a final 7-4. Pitch skied up the right side. That's going to be out of play. The Red Sox and the Oakland A's just underway in Oakland. Red Sox did not score in the first. Bartolo Colon pitching for Oakland. 2 here to Desmond. Chopped to short. Cedeno goes to second for the force play. So the Rays are out in the 8th inning. We're headed into the 9th inning. Chris Archer, 94 pitches, leading 5-0. He's pitched into a game in terms of innings. He has run up higher pitch counts, just 94 pitches through 8 from Chris Archer. He made 109 pitches on the 18th of June. That was against Boston at Fenway, and he made 103 pitches against the Red Sox on June the 12th of this year. Again, 94 through 8, and he's out there to work the 9th inning. And changes behind him. Kelly Johnson comes in from left to play second base. Zobrist moves over to play shortstop with Escobar out of the game. Sam Fold, who pinch ran, is now in left. Ronnie Cedeno will open the 9th inning. And the first pitch is a fastball in there for a strike. 7 strikeouts, no walks, 3 hits allowed. Chris Archer misses with a slider. It's 1-1. Well, here we go, BA, in the 9th inning with Chris Archer out here trying to go the distance for the very first time.
Yeah, I mean, this is hugely exciting for a guy to get an opportunity to go back out there. And when you do, for me, it was max effort on every pitch. You don't know which one they're going after. You certainly don't want to give the manager any excuse to come and get you. So you talk about emptying the tank. That's what you are doing on each and every pitch in anticipation of finishing this ball game off.
Batone calling for time. Well, Archer has been under control and in command all day long. He goes with a slider, takes the count to 2-2 on Cedeno. He struck him out using the slider in the 6th inning. The 2-2. And a little looper base hit, soft liner into right center, and Myers is there to make the pickup. And so that's hit number 4. To this point, he's scattered 3 singles and a double. And the leadoff man is on base for only the 2nd time today for Houston. And the first time was way back in the 2nd, and that came on an error. Carlos Pena at the top of the order. Pena a couple strikeouts and a fly ball to right field today. Rays put the shift on. Pitch, fastball, strike 1. There was a call down to the bullpen by Jim Hickey. And there's Fernando Rodney starting to slowly loosen. It's 1-1. Foul back the other way. It's 1-2. Rays Live, the post game presented by Checkers, comes your way immediately following the coverage of this one. Joe Madden's press conference. One-two count. Pena taking a lot of time, as noted earlier in the game. Lots of time between pitches with Carlos Pena hitting. Another foul ball. Fastball at 96. So Archer maintaining that great velocity he has here in the 9th.
Yeah, usually the first thing that'll go with the guy is his command. You'll start to see a lot of balls elevated in the zone, and after that, if he continues to stay in there, then you'll see the velocity start to dip. But what you're seeing from Chris Archer is the velocity being maintained, the quality of the pitches being maintained.
Foul again. Fastball 96. That takes the pitch count up to 104. So the only time he's had more pitches in a game than this was that game at Fenway on the 18th of June. And that was 109. And he got it. Slider started wide. Nice job by Archer. Little backdoor slider around the knees, and that's strikeout number 8.
A little backdoor action right here. How about that? Right on that edge, just too close to take. And Will Little, the 29-year-old, rings up Carlos Pena. Short jab.
One away here in the 9th. Here's Altuve. And the first pitch to him is a strike. Starts him with a slider.
Now still continuing to stay pitch to pitch. Not getting too far ahead of himself. Each pitch.
Foul ball back. A couple of sliders here. 0-2. You remember counting down to your first complete game?
Yes, I do. I do, and it is, yeah. It's just one pitch at a time, and I'm not kidding you. It's you get the sign, rear back, you let it fly.
Runner takes off and chopped to third. Longoria's throw to first. 2 gone here. Cedeno moves into second. So he's just 1 out away from going the distance.
And this is where it really starts to kick in, because now you've reached the point of no return. But I'll tell you this, you get to this point because you've been throwing the ball great all day long. And so that's what Chris Archer has done. He knows he can get this guy out. He knows what he wants to do with him. And now it's a matter of going to work, make a couple quality pitches, and you know you're going to walk off a winner.
Well, he's going to face Jason Castro, who will be the Houston representative at the All-Star game in New York. Right now, Archer 1 out away from a complete game shutout. Castro takes a strike. Slider.
And the way sometimes it can get later in the game with Joe Madden and making moves, get Castro. Don't even allow for one more. Get Castro.
Only twice have the Astros placed a man as far as second base today. Fastball down. That pitch down at 97. So there's plenty left in that tank.
Yeah, well, hey, and that's it. And it's all coming out now. Everything you got.
He's made 110 pitches, which is a career high. And the 1-1 to Castro. That's a strike on the corner. Fastball to 94. Archer pitch by pitch making his way toward the finish line.
Right on the outside corner. And, you know, you can afford to let him run this pitch count up here because of the All-Star break, obviously, and then where Archer's going to be slotted. He's going to have at least a week before he goes back out there. So 110, 111. Let him go.
Here we go. 1-2. Fly ball center field. Back goes Jennings, still on the run. He got it. Jennings, a great catch to finish the day. And Archer goes the distance. 4-hit shutout for the 24-year-old right-hander Chris Archer. And the Rays win it 5-0. For the first time in his career, Chris Archer goes the distance, and he does it in style. A 4-hit shutout.
Could have been a better ending. Probably for Chris Archer. Heart skips a beat, but Desmond Jennings run that down.
Well, Desmond Jennings scored the first run of this game, and he caught the last out. So he bookends this effort for the Rays. And in between, Chris Archer took care of everything else.
Boy, look at this. On his horse. Extension backhand, and Archer, come on. Yes.
And he can let the emotion go now. Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite. So a superb performance by Chris Archer to give the Rays the series victory. And they complete their best homestand in franchise history. The Rays go 9-1 on this homestand. And they go 12-2 leading up to the All-Star break. The Rays 3 back in the East. And with this win, they moved ahead of Texas in the wild card chase as well. Now a half game up on the Texas Rangers. A 5-0 win for the Rays on the complete game effort by Chris Archer. It's the 11th shutout of the season for the Rays pitching staff. 3rd complete game of the year. And Todd Callis is standing by on the field with Chris Archer right now.
Hi, Dwayne. Chris, congratulations, first of all. You hadn't been in that place before going into the 9th inning. Did you have to fight your emotions and not getting ahead of yourself in that 9th inning when you knew what was on the line?
Really, no. I felt comfortable. I felt like I was at home. Everything that I've practiced up to this point in my life, I've used this word before, but it came to fruition right there. The crowd was really loud, gave me energy, but within, like in my mind, I was still, I was calm. And I don't know, everything that my parents have helped me with, my mentor, other people that are very important in my life, it showed right there. I don't have words for it. It's a feeling. It's something that there are no words for.
When you go into the ninth inning, you knew this is uncharted territory for you. Joe and Jim Hickey said that let's let him go out and finish this. Did you know you had it in you? Is it something you have to get beyond before you can believe you can go 8 and then 9 innings?
Every time I go out there, I set the highest possible goals that I can. I don't want to use the bullpen. But there's nothing that can replace actually doing it. Going out for the 8th was something new for me. But at the same time, it's still baseball. It's still 6 feet, 6 inches. And I just stayed within myself. I didn't try to overthrow. I didn't try to make anything super nasty. And it all just clicked. I mean, and I failed to mention the defense was incredible tonight. We scored runs. The last catch that Des made was awesome. I was thinking about this before the game. We have 9 players on the field that are Gold Glove caliber. Not many teams run out, well, I guess 8, but not many teams run out 8 guys behind you who can possibly win a Gold Glove year in and year out. So it's just a special feeling, and they definitely showed that tonight.
Is it coincidental that you have been on the bench watching David Price and his pitch efficiency, and now what you've done, no walks last start, and then what you did today? Is there a cause and effect?
Yeah, DP is Cy Young, reigning Cy Young Award winner.
There's his reaction to your shutout.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, he told me to be ready for this jump right here. He told me to be ready for that before the game.
Really?
He said, you're going to get another chance to do the jump and be on time. And I was like, you're right. And he's the first one out on the field to congratulate me. I mean, that just goes to show what type of human being he is. Away from baseball, he wants to see people be successful. And just the fact that he started a foundation, I'm trying to start a foundation. The fact that he won the Cy Young last year, I'm striving to maximize my talent, and hopefully that equals a Cy Young one year. But I don't know. He's what I strive to be. I know I'm never going to be David Price, but he's a very good example.
You're a very good Chris Archer. It was a blast to watch you today. Enjoy your All-Star break. It was a phenomenal outing. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, TK.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Chris Archer and the Rays 5-0 winners here over Houston to wrap up the most successful homestand in club history. We'll be right back.